School is not optional. It never was. For over 100 years, children have been legally required to give their time to an institution they did not choose. Not for pay, not by choice. So, the question is simple. Who benefits from that? Because once you follow the money, you do not just find schools, you find corporate interests, corruption, and the enslavement of children for profit. It is a system where time becomes a product, pressure becomes normal, and childhood becomes input. And once that system exists, people start depending on it for their livelihoods. People need it to continue. Compulsion creates a guaranteed market. School is not a normal market. You do not choose it. You are required to attend. By 1918, every U.S. state had compulsory attendance laws. That creates something unusual, a guaranteed market. Millions of children who must show up every day, whether they want to or not. And once attendance is mandatory, a funding pipeline forms around it. Districts buy curriculum, tests, devices, transportation, meals, buildings, software, and internet access. In some places, funding tracks attendance, so more time in classrooms can mean more money for vendors and staffing. Time becomes revenue. And when the school day ends, it often does not really end. Homework reaches into nights, weekends, and sleep. That is not just rhetoric. Specific studies have documented the damage. Homework, sleep insufficiency, and adolescent neurobehavioral problems tied heavy homework to sleep loss and worse emotional and behavioral outcomes. A large study led by University College London found that pressure to achieve at school was linked to higher depressive symptoms and increased risk of self-harm, with effects persisting into adulthood. But none of that extra time is paid. It is required. So the system does not just take hours inside the building, it reaches into the child's home life too. Scale, payroll, and the vendor stack. Now, follow the money. Public K-12 education in the United States takes in roughly $900 billion a year. A huge share goes to payroll. Another massive share goes to buildings, land, equipment, and infrastructure. And then there is the wider vendor stack. Construction companies, technology vendors, testing contractors, food service providers, telecom infrastructure, consultants, software subscriptions, maintenance contracts, and transportation fleets. Entire industries plug into compulsory schooling and benefit from its scale. Real examples make that visible. In Texas, a 4-year statewide testing contract worth hundreds of millions of dollars moved from one company to another, but the testing mandate stayed. In Los Angeles Unified, a $500 million iPad and curriculum deal went to Apple and Pearson. The companies can change, the vendor names can change, but the guaranteed demand remains. And scholars have described that broader trend directly. Stephen Ball in Globalized, Commodified, and Privatized, Current International Trends in Education and Education Policy, and Privatizing Education Policy, Privatizing Educational Research, describes schooling as a field of commodities, contracts, and commercialization. That matters, because markets like these cause those involved to have a vested interest in continuing them. Lobbying, exams, and the anxiety market. The money is not only in contracts. It is also in policy. It is in lobbying. It is in deciding how much testing children face, which exams remain central, and which institutions keep getting paid. A 2015 analysis by the Center for Media and Democracy reported that Pearson, ETS, Houghton Mifflin Harcourt, and McGraw-Hill together spent more than $20 million lobbying state and federal officials from 2009 to 2014, while the expanded testing regime fueled a nearly $2 billion annual testing business. In its 2024 tax filing, the College Board reported over $1 billion in revenue, while federal lobbying disclosures showed the organization lobbying on education appropriations and education assessments. Once schools convince families that scores are central, a secondary market appears around the pressure. test prep, private tutoring, coaching, cram programs. Edward Kim and co-authors in Kumon In, The Recent Rapid Rise of Private Tutoring Centers, found that the number of private tutoring centers in the United States more than tripled, from about 3,000 in 1997 to about 10,000 by 2022. So the sequence becomes brutally clear. Schools create pressure, tests formalize it, then businesses sell families a way through it. Pressure becomes a product. And the political structure around schooling does not belong only to corporations. Teachers' unions also wield organized labor power over pay, staffing, and politics. How do teachers' unions influence education policy? What we know and what we need to learn describes the main channels of influence as collective bargaining, elections, and lobbying. From the schoolhouse to the state house, teacher union political activism and U.S. state education reform policy shows teacher union political activity shaping whether states adopt reforms like school choice and performance pay. Whatever side someone takes on unions, the structural point is still there. Workers have organized representation. Vendors have contracts. Testing firms have lobbying budgets. Prep companies have paying customers. The student has none of that. No union, no ability to strike, no seat at the bargaining table. But the student is still the one required to participate. So, step back and look at the whole thing. A system where attendance is mandatory. A system where time drives funding. A system where pressure drives spending. A system where adults negotiate around the institution, profit from it, lobby around it, and build businesses on top of it. And where does the cost go? Not into the contracts, not into the balance sheets. It shows up in lost sleep, in stress, in depression, in self-harm, in years of childhood that do not come back. John Holt in How Children Fail put the scam plainly. It begins to look as if the test examination marks business is a gigantic racket, the purpose of which is to enable students, teachers, and schools to take part in a joint pretense that the students know everything they are supposed to know, when in fact they know only a small part of it, if any at all. That is not just bad teaching. It is a structure of incentives. Anything that would increase children's freedom, lessen the amount of time they have to spend in school, decrease the pressure the children face, or decrease the amount of work the children are forced to do, would directly cut into corporate profits and staffing income. It is a system built on time, compliance, pressure, and continuation. And once people and corporations depend on those things for their livelihoods and profits, they rarely give them up willingly. The incentives cause the powerful to enslave children in a prison, and the official story says the child should be grateful for the lock. John Taylor Gatto, in Dumbing Us Down, said, "School is a 12-year jail sentence where bad habits are the only curriculum truly learned. I teach school and win awards doing it. I should know."